This is going to be so good. Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. I'm Patrice, and today we are going to be having a So Good tutorial. Every week, Delonda of Crafting with Delonda and myself, we host a live or pre-recorded video showing how to embroider with a multi-needle machine. The machine that we generally use is the Ricoma Marquee 2001 to get that done. So if you are interested, make sure you are subscribed to both channels, have your notifications on so that you are notified whenever we go live or post a video. Today, I got this stocking from Five Below. Originally, I was going to embroider on this stocking, this knitted stocking. However, I saw this one at Five Below and I really want to embroider on it so that you guys can see how you can find really economical blanks that you can embroider on as well. Generally, I show sublimation with Five Below things, but today we're going to do a little bit of embroidery. So we have our stocking. We're also going to be using our mighty hoops. These are magnetic hoops, and it just makes hooping a lot easier to me. We're also going to be using a little bit of tearaway stabilizer for this project. However, if you prefer to use cutaway, you certainly can use cutaway stabilizer. And we're also going to be using a little bit of water-soluble stabilizer just to help make our stitches kind of pop out of this material. Sometimes your thread can sink into certain materials, and that's where your water-soluble stabilizer comes in handy. Okay, so you're going to place it on top. You guys are going to see how we're going to get this done. So let's get ready to hoop our stocking and stitch out something beautiful. All right, guys, so we have our stocking, and as you see, it costs $4, and we are simply going to turn this inside out. Okay, I'm turning this inside out. Okay, we have it turned inside out, and that is how we're going to embroider on this. And of course, we're only embroidering on this area, and if you notice, this is the area that when we folded it over, this is the part that's going to be seen. So that's why we're doing it this way. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is get ready to hoop the stocking, and to do that we're going to get our mighty hoop and we're going to place it on the inside. Now before you do that, just be certain which direction you want your stocking to be seen. Okay, so that will make a difference in which side you embroider on. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and place the bottom of our mighty hoop inside. This is the back of the mighty hoop, and we're going to just place that inside like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab our stabilizer to stuff it inside. And this is the stabilizer is going on top of that bottom part of the mighty hoop. Okay. You don't want it to be bunched up. You want it to fit nicely inside. So don't cut your stabilizer too big, okay? I am going to bring this all the way up. Now, another thing that I'm not doing is I'm not putting the material all the way up. So this is kind of, there's still a little bit of that stabilizer at the top, or not the stabilizer, the hoop at the top. So you can still see the hoop there. That's how I'm hooping it. After we're done with this portion, because now this entire area is within the hoop still, we're going to get our water-soluble stabilizer, and I'm going to place that right here on top. I have too much water-soluble stabilizer, but it's fine. Sometimes you can float it if you don't want to waste any of your water-soluble stabilizer. You can certainly float it, and I'm just going to place it like that. Next, we're going to grab the top mighty hoop, or the top of the mighty hoop, and we're going to just let it go ahead and do what it does. And now it's all connected. Okay, and that is hooped. Make sure you have your opening. Okay, because if you don't, it's gonna stitch together. All right, guys, so now we're going to get ready and place this onto the machine, and you want to make sure that you have it open. Okay, so if you're doing this on a single needle machine, you'd probably want to hoop it differently so that you can get this done also. All right, so I'm just gonna push this in and making sure that it is underneath the embroidery arm, okay? Or at least that the embroidery arm is inside of the stocking. All right, so now we're ready to load the design onto the machine. With this machine, you can load your designs via a USB, or you can send it electronically to your machine from the software. So we're going to get ready and find our design. Let's make sure we're not in embroidery mode, and we're not. So we have the USB tab that is selected, and we're going to find our design on the USB, and here it is right here. Now, if you go too fast, the machine is still loading all the designs from the USB, but you can bypass the wait and select the 3 ellipses on the side. I'm going to select Save to Machine. I'm going to say OK. And now it's on the machine, but as you see now everything is loading, okay? So now we're going to go to machine, and here is the design right here. Okay, we're going to click select. That's the design that we'll be using. Now we need to get our hoop correct, and so the hoop that we're going to be using, we're going to use a custom hoop, and I did have to enter in the parameters for the hoop. We're going to be using the Mighty Hoop 5.5 inch hoop. I'm going to select yes. So now we have our hoop selected. We need to adjust our colors, and we're going to stick with the same theme, red and white. I am going to put a little bit of green in there as well. So as you see, the machine will blink and show you exactly which parts you're going to be selecting the colors for. And here are the different color stops. There's 4 different color stops. So anything that's blinking, that's what I need to select the color for. So I'm going to go with the red for that. And our red is 16. The red that we'll be using is 16. Then I want to use white for the Y and the A. So I'm going to select our second slot, and then for the outline we're going to go with the green. So I am simply going to select 3 because that's our green. And then for Christmas 24, you can pick whatever color you want. I think I'm going to stick with green for there as well. Okay, so I'm going to select save, and now we are getting ready to enter into our embroidery mode. So we're going to select setup mode. Yes, and now we can get ready to trace it. Okay, so we're going to head to the machine. All right, guys, so now we're ready to trace, and I'm going to do a trace area. It's just tracing the general area of the design. And if I select trace design, it will give us a more detailed tracing. All right, so now we're going to get ready, and we are going to press start. Just making sure I feel there. Everything is good. All right, guys, so it's all done, and y'all, it looks so good. So right here where the bobbin ran out, I should have went back a little bit more, but still it looks amazing. I love how it came out. So let's get ready to take this out of the hoop. So I kind of did this the way that I do my beanies, but now I think that we're gonna have an upside down top. So this may not be good. It looks good, but I did not think this through clearly. Let's see how it's gonna look. I may have to remove this and flip it around. All right, so let's move this. It looks good, but it's gonna be upside down. It is definitely going to be upside down. And guess what? It's gonna be fine. It is going to be fine. I am going to just stitch it. So that looks really good though. I love how that came out. And here we're just going to remove the tearaway stabilizer. So I'm gonna flip this back, right side out. Yep, definitely upside down. I should have flipped it. Ay, 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 ay. All right, so we're gonna remove this. And the reason why it's different from the beanie is because the direction of the stocking. That's why. If the hat was gonna go up, if the stocking was going up in this direction, then that would be fine. But it's going to the bottom. All right. So I'm gonna cut away all of these, all the thread, and we're going to have to sew this. We're gonna have to take this apart and sew it. All right, so let's just go. So if you're doing this with the stocking and you're gonna be hooping it this way, make sure that you flip your design upside down. All right, you guys are ready for this? Ay, yay, yay, yay. It's cute, but it's upside down. So if we were putting this on as a hat, it would be in the right direction. And I did not take that into consideration, but it's okay. Because guess what I'm going to do? I am going to remove this. And, if I can. We're going to remove it. And then we're just going to stitch it around. So to fix this, I'm going to be using my Brother SE600 embroidery and sewing machine, and I'm just going to cut it off. I was going to rip out those seams and everything, but I just chose to cut it off because it does have a lining on the inside, and it was just going to be too much. So now I'm just fitting it just to make sure that it's going to stitch correctly, and I'm literally just placing it in the exact position where it was prior to me cutting it, but I flipped it so that it can be the correct direction. All right, so now I'm going to get ready to start stitching. I removed the bottom of the arm of my embroidery sewing machine just so that I could fit the stocking on and I could sew it more easily. I chose to follow the same stitch line that's already there to avoid having double stitch lines and just so that it still looks neat and like I got it from the store. Like I wanted it to look really, really nice. So that's what I did. The pins were super helpful and I just held everything together as I stitched it through, and I put our hoop back on it as well. So everything turned out really, really good. I love how it looks. The bottom part of that top, I just need to do something with that and fix it. But for the most part, I'm pretty pleased with how everything turned out. Oh, y'all, we had to save this because it was just too cute to waste. So I'm super excited about this and I'm going to love giving this away to my friend. Even with our mishap, it is still so good, y'all. I love how this came out. We used the brick and a zigzag stitch for the fill of Kaija, and I absolutely love how this came out. We turned a $4 stocking from Five Below into a $40 stocking from our home from our embroidery machine. But it looks really good. The only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to maybe stitch some trim around there just to finish it off since I had to cut it. But for the most part, you guys see what to do, what not to do, especially if you have a stocking that's similar to this that you need to fold over. You want to make sure when you put it onto your machine, you flip your image upside down, okay? A little different from how you would do a beanie, but nonetheless, I love how this came out. And my sewing machine, it's always good to have a sewing machine handy because you never know when you're going to need it. For those of you who might be visiting here for the first time, please check us out weekly. Delonda and I host So Good Weekends, and we do a project with our embroidery machine. Mainly our Marquee 2001 from Ricoma. We kind of show different projects and how to use it, and it's so much fun. All right, so I will have a link listed below to Delonda's channel, Crafting with Delonda, listed below. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give us a thumbs up. Also, make sure to head over to Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok and join the Craftable Things communities there as well. I would love to have you there. But that's it for today, y'all. Thank you all so much for watching. Until next time.